Hello, I'm Diana Grog, and I was assigned Chapter 18. So I read, it was the chapter was two excerpts, or was excerpts from the journals of Dr. Seward and Mrs. Harker. And it was it's when meetings with Renfield and things like that. And so meetings in the sanitarium. And being a different sort of person myself, I know that if I had lived in that time being the kind of person I am, I probably would have ended up there just because I'm different. And so even though I'm not I'm not insane, I'm right brained, I'm an extrovert, but that's the part, looking at Renfield and then looking at how and yes, poor Renfield, he was a very intelligent man, but he wasn't he wasn't in his right mind. But how were women who were different treated, and in the early times they were burned as witches or hung as witches and stuff, and then and the thing is, I found myself uh, uh, sympathizing with him, empathizing with Renfield, and not that I want to eat flies and spiders, but no, and I don't believe the blood is the life, just the being different, but a lot of my friends and I have been discussing, talking about mental health and achieving it and things like that. So that, and of course their mission, of course, is the battle between good and evil, and what is mental health, but in our own minds, it is our battle with our demons, because basically a lot of times you're fighting your own past. So and that's what recovery is not, there is recovery from substance abuse, which I have not experienced, but there's also recovery from your own past, depending on how severe it is. It can be very severe. You can have PTSD, which some of us have, and you end up on medication and things like that, and there should be no stigma about it. So those are things that came to mind, and whatever reason, the visits to Renfield inspired that for me. So what I have here is a woman named Fanny, or Funincula was the name that the name Fanny came from, who has ended up here because she's different. She's not, she's a woman with her own mind, an artist. Perhaps she suffers from bipolarism, because she ends up painting a mural on the wall of her bedroom, and her family didn't like it. She didn't stay within the lines. So I present to you Patient Funincula. Though it's so nice to have a visitor. So Are you one of the order, one of the doctors, or new doctor? Oh, well, never mind. It would be our secret if you're not. you you seem much more relaxing than being around Dr. Seward and all that. And what am I? Oh, this is my journal. They've asked us to write in journals, all of us, and oh, you'd like to hear an excerpt from it? Well, all right then. My name is. Oh, by the way, my name is Funicular, but you may call me Fanny. And your name is Dr. Vlad. Oh, all right. All right. So I will read this to you. September 30. They're asking us all to write in journals, even us, the inmates. I know Dr. Seward doesn't like us to refer to ourselves as inmates. But, well, what else am I to think? My family leaves me here in this place simply because I don't follow their rules. Or the rest of society's, for that matter. Bunch of stodgy old busybodies minding everyone's business but their own. They think I don't see, they think I don't know who they're seeing that is not their spouse, who is invited to tea, to talk about the faults of the other so-called dearest friend. Stuff and nonsense. Everyone always knew exactly where they stood with me. The vicar. In Cromwell's day, they hung people for that, said the vicar wistfully to me one day. Funicular, you are surely on a road to hell. I looked at him squarely in the eye, and I said, well then, vicar, I suppose that I shall meet you there for tea. I thought he would die of apoplexy right then and there. One day, while I was out walking, one day while I was painting the view out my chamber window, it occurred to me that I wanted that view on the walls of my chamber. So I removed all the portraits of my long-dead relatives, and people I didn't know and didn't want to look at anymore, and still lifes that are dead because they're still stagnant. And I removed the ghastly drapes my mother had put up, because I hated them. And I began painting. By the end of the day, I had the most beautiful painting of my gardens. Oh, my flowers. The flowers I like to tend to myself, especially my roses. Oh, my roses so fragrant. Oh, I miss them. And of the beautiful forest beyond. Oh, it was so lovely. I'd never done anything so large before. I felt like Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci. I thought maybe I have started a new trend. It was my house. I felt I could do what I wanted with it. Well, the maid came in with my tea, and I asked her what she thought. She gaped at it like a deer in the sights of a Winchester. Lord, ma'am, it's beautiful. What? But what? I asked. Won't your family be displeased then? Oh, let them. I told her, it's my house. Yes, ma'am, she said, and she left. Well, I don't know what she told them. But they came and looked while I was out walking one day. I returned, and they were all seated in silence in the parlour. I wanted nothing to do with their dreary presence, and started up the stairs. They called me in. It was an intervention for my sake, they said. For my health, they said. For my mental health, they said. Well, I told them, I am perfectly fine. It was this Cromwell-type inquiry that was not. What was wrong with painting my chamber to my liking? Oh my, it just isn't done. I replied that perhaps it should be. It certainly is much more cheery, don't you think? They didn't. While they couldn't fault the beauty, it needed to be confined to a canvas. I disagreed and left the room. The next thing I knew, I was in the vice-like grip of two very large men and unceremoniously hauled back to the parlour and made to face a man which I now know is Dr. Seward. And he injected me with something to calm me down, he said. As I lost consciousness, I saw my daughter smiling triumphantly at her husband, and she was looking around at the house. She wasn't even looking at me. No concern whatsoever. She got what she wanted. The next thing I knew, I was here. There are strange things happening here. I find myself painting dark figures. I get the feeling I am being watched by more than just the nurses and the orderlies and the regular. All of the inmates are restless. I hear that creature, Renfield is his name, I believe, crying out, "The blood is the life. Master, I hear you." Whom he hears, I do not know. But the figure I painted today was a man in black, standing on a cliff, overlooking the sea. His cloak stirring in the wind. I can almost feel him, feel his presence. I swear I heard my name called in my dreams.